So, good morning and welcome everyone to today's class. To begin today's class, let us start with a quick recap of what we had done in the previous class. In the previous class, we had discussed something known as law of conservation of energy, which is energy cannot be created, energy cannot be destroyed, it can only be converted from one form to another. That is a universal law that is valid everywhere. We are not going to use that law of conservation of energy. We are not going to use that in problems. What we are going to use in problems, Wahini, that's correct, lock me. What we are going to use in problems is law of conservation of mechanical energy. Now, this mechanical energy basically consists of the sum of kinetic energy and potential energy. Potential energy can be electrostatic potential energy, gravitational potential energy, or spring potential energy. Kinetic energy is by the motion of the body half mv square. So this law simply states that the mechanical energy of a body remains constant, but it is strictly under the condition that only conservative forces are present and non-conservative forces are absent. If they are present, their work done has to be equal to zero. I hope I am audible and visible to all of you, right? Can I have some reason that I'm audible, visible? You can see my screen. Everything is coming nice and fine. Okay, done. Now remember this law of conservation of mechanical energy, I call it the daughter theorem. By daughter theorem, what do I mean? That this is only valid if only conservative forces are present. This is basically derived from something known as the work energy theorem, which I call as the mother theorem. This mother theorem is applicable everywhere. By everywhere, what I mean, whether they are conservative forces, whether they are non-conservative forces, you can always apply work energy theorem. But if there are only conservative forces present, applying Lockme becomes easier, and you might have seen this. I mean, I think in the other class you are having gravitation has already started, and you must be using this law of conservation of mechanical energy in gravitation. Now, what we are going to do is solve one problem, a very simple problem which we have done before, and we'll do it by both the ways so that you understand that any problem that comes to you and you are doing it by law of conservation of mechanical energy, you can only do it by law of conservation of mechanical energy if only conservative forces are present. But you can always do the problem, whatever the problem may be, by applying work energy theorem, and this is what we are going to understand in this one problem. After this problem, we are not going to do the problems by work energy theorem because we have already done so many problems by work energy theorem. We'll now try to do all the problems by law of conservation of mechanical energy, or LOCME, because now only conservative forces would be present, friction, resistance, and all those things would be absent. So we'll have a look at one of these problems. We have already solved this problem in previous classes, but we are just having a recap for you to understand that same problem could have been done in a different way. The answers are going to be same. Remember the mother theorem and the daughter theorem. I have a block of mass m which is kept at rest. On the top of this ledge, the height of this is h. Obviously, there is no friction, because if there is friction, Lockme cannot be applied. So I am taking out friction from the picture here. It is kept at rest. Someone is holding it. If I release it, what will happen? Very simple. If I release it, it will just move down. When it reaches down, it will acquire some velocity. We have to find out what is the velocity with which this block reaches the bottom of the prism or wedge or whatever this is. So this is the problem, and I know we have done this problem previously. Again, we'll do it by two different ways, and then we'll move on to other problems which we'll be doing by only one way, because there is no point of wasting time in doing it by two ways. So this is one problem. We'll be doing it first. We will be doing it by work energy theorem, and secondly, we'll be doing it by law of conservation of mechanical energy. I'll give you a minute to solve this problem on your own. You have to solve it by two different ways. Work energy theorem, number one. Number two, lock me. Your time starts now. I will keep shut for 2 minutes. Please try. Everyone in the online class and offline class, Hanak, Sainath, Rakesh, Vahini, all of you try. I hope everyone is trying the problem. I think light is less. I can't see your faces, but still, I hope all of you are trying the problem in the online class as well as the offline class. I'll give you one more minute to solve it. I hope all of you know the answer. Anyone can tell me the answer. I think it's a very simple problem for you to give me an answer. The answer would be very simple. What is the answer? No one knows the answer? Okay, let me solve it. The first way in which I'll be solving it is by applying work energy theorem, WET. I'll call this point as point A. I will call this point as point B. So I'll apply work energy theorem from point A to point B. Let me just make a small dash here. Work energy theorem from point A to point B. What does it state? Work done by all forces shall be equal to change in kinetic energy. Now, when I talk about all forces here, there are two forces at work. One is gravity and the other one is normal reaction. There is no friction, so don't worry about friction. One is gravity and the other one is normal reaction. And all of us know that work done by normal reaction. How much is the work done by normal reaction here? What is the work done by normal reaction here? Normal reaction is always like this, perpendicular to the plane, and the block is moving along the plane. What will be the work done by normal reaction? Anyone? Hanak has given me the answer of the problem. That is correct. But what I was asking Hanak here is what is the work done by normal reaction? And the answer to this is work done by normal reaction is definitely zero. We all know this. Why is everyone moving in the class? Then we think about work done by gravity. As you can see, this block is here. It has to come here. It moves down a vertical distance of h. All of us know that work done by gravity in this case would be how much? Plus mgh. That would be the work done by gravity. All of us know this. We just substitute this. So I'll just write work done by gravity would be equal to change in kinetic energy. Work done by gravity is plus mgh. I'm omitting the plus sign. Mgh, let me use a different color pen here. Let me use a blue pen. Work done by gravity, which is mgh, shall be equal to change in kinetic energy. Final kinetic energy is half mv square. Initial kinetic energy, it is at rest, therefore it is zero. Look at the yellow one, rest, that is why it is zero. From here I can easily calculate the value of v, and v will be equal to root of 2gh. No questions asked, no answers given. This is as simple as it gets. All of you got this answer using work energy theorem? Can I have some raised hands? Boys, why are you talking? Let us concentrate on the class. You can talk with your friends and pals after the class. I think you get enough time for talking. You are staying in the hostel, so you probably get more time to talk. Right now, let us concentrate on what we are doing, and we are trying to understand the work energy theorem. Yes, we got the answers to this one. Root over 2gh is the answer for velocity. This is how I'll get every question solved by work energy theorem, and you can do it over and over and over and over again. You don't have to think about conservative forces, non-conservative forces. Any force present, any force absent, you can always apply work energy theorem. Now the next thing is, let us try to solve the same problem using Lockme. Sorry. How I can do it using Lockme? As you can see, the only forces present here are conservative forces. Non-conservative forces like friction are absent. Normal reaction is present, but work done by normal reaction is zero. Normal reaction is also a constant force. Every constant force is a conservative force. I told you that. So in any case, you can apply work energy theorem, as well as here in this case, I can also apply Lockme. So now we are going to apply Lockme from point A to point B, and then find out the same answer by the law of conservation of mechanical energy. Now, what does law of conservation of mechanical energy state? Mechanical energy at point A shall be equal to mechanical energy at point B. Mechanical energy at point A consists of kinetic energy at point A plus potential energy at point A. That must be equal to kinetic energy at point B plus potential energy at point B. Now, what is the kinetic energy at point A? Kinetic energy at point A is definitely zero because it has to be at rest. It is at rest, yellow. What about potential energy at point A? To find out potential energy at point A, we have to take some reference. And what is our reference? I can take ground as reference. So gravitational potential energy of ground, which is point B. Yes, beta, is taken as zero. If I take the ground key energy as zero, the potential energy of the highest point, which is point A, becomes plus mgh. So I write this plus mgh. Plus mgh is the potential energy of the point A. That must be equal to kinetic energy at point B. Looking at kinetic energy, the pink one, the velocity is taken as v. So I can write the kinetic energy as half mv square plus potential energy at point B. I look at the green part, potential energy at point B is taken as zero. So I simply write zero here. I solve this equation. It's a very simple one to solve, and I land up with the same answer. V is under root of 2gh. What is the moral of the story here? Anyone? The problem that could be done by work energy theorem can now also be done using Lockme. Remember, my work energy theorem is the mother theorem. Mother can always do everything. Daughter may not be able to do everything, but daughter becomes useful when Only conservative forces are present, and in most of the cases the question will be only on conservative forces, and hence from now onwards we are going to apply Locke-May and not work energy theorem, because we have done lot of questions on work energy theorem. I'll give you a minute to think about this problem and note it down, and then we will move ahead with the next problem. If you have any doubts, please feel free to ask me. 1 minute. I hope you have noted it down, the problem. Let us now move on to the next problem, problem number 2. And it is also quite a simple one at that. I have a frictionless track which I am drawing now. This is my frictionless track. Now at the end of this frictionless track, I have a spring attached whose spring constant is K. I have a block of mass m moving with a velocity v. Remember, this surface is frictionless. So this surface is smooth. Now, this block is going to hit the spring and it will compress the spring. Two questions I am going to ask. Number one, velocity with which the block hit the spring. That is the first question. With how much velocity the block hits the spring. Number two, you have to find out the maximum compression in the spring. Two questions have been asked. A block of mass m moving with a velocity v on a frictionless track. It's moving. It hits a wall. Does not hit a wall. It hits a spring which is attached to the wall. With what velocity does it hit the spring, and what is the maximum compression in the spring? I'll give you 1 minute to think about this problem and solve it. Draw the diagram, and then we will discuss the same problem. And there is no hint that you need. The hint is only this, that you have to apply law of conservation of mechanical energy, Locke-May. There is the only forces present here are number one, gravitational force, which is conservative. Number two, spring force, which is conservative. Normal reaction is constant, does not do any work. In any case, it is conservative. All conservative forces are present. We can simply apply Locke-May. 2 minutes, and I hope you can solve this. So anyone with the answer for the first part? Velocity with which the block hits the spring? With how much velocity is the block going to hit the spring? So I can call this position as position A, the original position. This blue position is the position when it is hitting the block. So let me call this position when it is hitting the block as position B. It is moving here with some velocity. Then let me call this position as position C. This position is position C, and this is the position where the block is in, no, the spring is in maximum compression state. So I have taken three positions. A is the initial position, B is the position where it hits the spring, and C is the position where the spring is in its natural, no, maximum compression state. Now I'll apply Lockme from A to B. I don't have to apply Lockme from A to B. By common sense, anyone can tell me what will be the velocity at point B. From A to B, will the velocity change? Anyone? I don't have to apply Lockme. We can just say it from common sense. From A to B, will the velocity change? Yes or no? No, velocity will not change. The only force acting is normal reaction, which is upwards. Gravity is downwards. They will balance out each other. There is no force in the horizontal direction. Don't have to apply Lockme. Simple common sense will tell us there is no friction. There is no other force in the horizontal direction. So the velocity with which it hits the block, no, the velocity with which the block hits the spring would remain same. So the velocity at point B will also be V. Do we understand this? Can I have some raise hand that we understand this? Boys at the back, girls on the right. We understand this? There is no force acting on the block. The only force is gravitational force downwards and normal direction upwards. No force in the parallel direction, no friction. The block ki velocity will remain constant. I'm not getting raised hands from all of you. Is there a doubt in this? Girls? Anyone has doubt? I can see raised hands from the last rows, but I'm not seeing any raised hand from the front rows. Is it so difficult to understand?
No doubt, sir.
Okay. So the velocity with which it hits the spring is V. That was a simple problem. The next problem is finding out the maximum compression. And again, this is also a simple problem. Now, how can I do this? Now, I can do it in various ways. Even in Lockme, I can apply Lockme from point A to point C, or I can apply Lockme from B to C. In all the cases, energy is conserved, so I can apply it from A to B, sorry, A to C, or I can apply it from B to C. Now, this condition B I've just created for academic purpose to make you understand that the block hits the spring with the same velocity. Such a question hardly comes. Will not be asking you with what velocity the block is going to hit the spring. This is just for you to understand that the velocity does not change. So let us take this point B out and not apply Lockme from B to C, because I just don't want to create a point in between that just creates a confusion in your head. Remember, JEE is an exam of time. You have to do the problem in a given time. Can't do it, it is useless. As I'm getting some disturbances. Someone is unmuted. Who is that? No one is unmuted. The only gentleman unmuted is the class. So something in the someone in the class was having mobile phone. Anyways, so I'm going to apply Lockme from A to C. I'm just taking the point B out. B was just to make you understand that the velocity does not change. Now, if I apply Lockme from A to C, I will just write mechanical energy at point A shall be equal to mechanical energy at point C. Now this mechanical energy at point A consists of potential energy at point A plus the kinetic energy at point A, that must be equal to potential energy at point C. Oh, I have written B. Potential energy at point C plus kinetic energy at point C. Now you must remember that this potential energy at point A consists of two types of potential energies. One is the gravitational potential energy and one is the spring potential energy. Now at A and C are on the same level, ground level. I can simply call the gravitational potential energy as zero. Same level, does not change. Gravitational potential energy is zero. Do we understand this? Can I have some raise hand? A and C are on the same level. Gravitational potential energy is zero. Now let us talk about the green one. The green one is the spring potential energy. At point A, there is no spring. If there is no spring, then there cannot be any spring potential energy. So the spring potential energy also becomes zero. So far, so good. Nothing is complicated. So I just write it here. Potential energy at point A, wrong colors. Potential energy at point A, gravitational plus spring is zero, zero plus. Now look at the kinetic energy at point A, which I'm going to do it in blue. Kinetic energy at point A is very simple. Velocity is v. So kinetic energy simply becomes half mv squared. Now again, I talk about potential energy at point C. Potential energy at point C also consists of gravitational potential energy, and this gravitational potential energy is definitely zero. No questions asked, no answers given. Same level, ground level, both are same. Now let us talk about the spring potential energy. So let us assume that this spring has been compressed. This spring has been compressed by a distance x, which is what we have to find out. What is the maximum compression in the spring? This is what we have to find out. So how much will be the spring potential energy? How much will be the spring potential energy? Spring has been compressed by an amount x. Everyone can see that it is in pink. Spring has been compressed by an amount x. So how much will be the spring potential energy? Anyone? How much will be the spring
Minus
potential?
k x squared. Minus half k x squared.
Minus half kx square. Wrong answer. What is wrong in this answer? Can anyone give me another answer for this? Minus half kx square is definitely not the answer. What is the spring potential
Minus
energy?
kx square.
Sorry, can I repeat again?
Minus kx square.
Minus kx square. That is not the answer. It is very disheartening and sad that you don't study at your hostels. It is a very sad thing. I hope God will give you. I am not able to give that
Minus
wisdom to you that you must study at home, but I must give you some wisdom right now because you're sitting. If any fool in this world or universe
kx.
has told you that by sitting in the class and listening to what babbling I'm doing, you can clear IIT JE or you can even sit in the exam of JE, that fool has fooled you. Whosoever that fool was, he has fooled you. The only way you can aspire or imagine yourself sitting in an IIT is not just by attending this lecture. If you attend a lecture of 1 hour here in physics, 1 hour in chemistry, 1 hour in maths, that means 1 hour of my lecture should be equal to 4 hours of your hard work. So that means you must study at least 15 hours in a day, 15 hours in a day. Open your ears. 15 hours in a day to have any chance of getting anywhere close to the gate of an IIT. You can get closer to the gate of an IIT, but you will not be studying there. So if you have any slightest of chance of getting into an IIT, Slightest, even the slightest, you must need 15 hours of study. And by the looks of it, you are having a gala time. And remember, if you have a gala time for these 2 years, not 2 years are not left, 1.5 years, you will have to slog it out for the rest of your life. So I hope better sense will prevail, and whosoever you revere, I mean, whosoever, whatever God you follow or whatever elders who you follow, I hope they will give you enough sense that you have to study, you have to study, you have to study. Else, well, even without studying, if you have another talent, you can make a living out of that talent. But forget about getting into an IIT. You are not going anywhere near an IIT, anywhere near an IIT, anywhere near an IIT, anywhere near an IIT. Okay, with such inspiring words, which I have to I avoid, but I have to give you once in a while such inspiring thoughts that shake you a bit. What is the spring potential energy at point C? Anyone? Yes, beta? No one knows it? I've taken 3 or 4 classes on this.
Of kx square.
Yes, it is half kx square, not minus. And I very specifically told you spring potential energy is never negative, it is always positive. And if you are not able to remember it, it is not a good sign. It is a very, very dangerous sign for you. You can't forget things like this. May God give you enough sense. I am not able to give you that sense. You are still taking things lightly. Please don't take it lightly. Your 11th course is almost over. And if you still don't know what is the work done by spring, it's a shame. It's a shame to me. It's a shame to all of you. It's an utter shame. If you go out and anyone asks you who is teaching you physics, don't take my name. That Astic sir, someone like Astic sir is teaching us physics. And he asks you what is spring potential energy, and you tell him minus half kx square. Don't utter my name. I'm not the one who is going to take responsibility for minus half kx square. I will just lift my hands up. I don't know this chap. I don't know this student. I have no idea who this is. If he's saying minus half kx square, he's not my student. Okay. Potential energy at point C consists of only spring potential energy. It is never negative. Please open your head and listen to it once again. It is never negative. It is plus half kx square. The next question is, what about the kinetic energy at point C? Can anyone tell me the answer for this? I hope I have given you enough lecture, enough dose for today that you should be able to tell me what is the kinetic energy at point C. To understand kinetic energy at point C, you must understand when will the maximum compression occur. When will spring be in its maximum compressed state? Can anyone tell me that? At maximum compression, what will happen? Why maximum compression? At maximum compression, what will happen? Anyone? What is the kinetic energy at point C? No one? Okay. So the kinetic energy at point C To find out kinetic energy at point C, to understand the kinetic energy at point C, you must understand what will be the velocity at point C. When the spring is in its maximum compressed state, what will be the velocity of the block that is hitting it? What will be the velocity of the block? Anyone? How will the spring be compressed? First of all, the block will hit the spring. Then the block will start to compress the spring. The velocity of the block will start to fall. It will keep on decreasing and spring will keep on compressing. Velocity will keep on decreasing, spring will keep on compressing. Velocity will keep on decreasing, spring will keep on compressing. And at one point in time, what will happen? And at one point in time, what will happen? The velocity of the block becomes zero.
Zero.
When the velocity of the block, yes, it becomes zero, the spring cannot compress any further. It will stop there for an instant and then spring will start to expand. Do we understand this? Can I have some reason that we understand this? Spring will keep on compressing, the velocity will keep on falling. Until it reaches a state where the velocity becomes zero, the compression in the spring becomes maximum. This is what you need to understand always. So the kinetic energy becomes 0 plus 0. It is very simple from now. I can easily calculate the extension in the spring. I have cut the wrong thing. Half and half getting cancelled. I can calculate the extension in the spring, and the extension in the spring is V under root of M by K. This is the maximum compression in the spring. Do we get this? Okay, please note this down. And if you have any doubt, please raise your doubts. Remember, energy of a spring is never negative. Can't make a mistake like this at this point in time. There are stages in your life. Once you are a kid, you started to walk, you can fall. Everyone will say, okay, you are starting to walk, so you can fall. But if you are 10 years old and then you don't know how to walk and you're falling, that cannot be pardoned. That means that you have not learned even walking. That cannot be done. If you have not learned walking, how will you run? And how will you win a race? You don't know how to walk. So I hope you don't make a mistake at this point in time. You have to understand what has been taught to you in the class, and the only way you can understand this is by practicing the same thing at home. And I don't think you are doing it. It hurts me a lot. We are putting in a lot of effort. But if you don't study beta, that entire effort is going to go down the drain. Nothing will happen from the hard work that you are putting in, we are putting in, if you don't study at home. I hope you understand this and take my words in a positive way. Not, I do not mean to demotivate you, but I don't find that you are studying hard. You must do it. It's high time. 11th is almost over. We can expect at least 40% questions, if not more. At least 40% questions will come from your 11th ka course. 40% questions. If you even solve these 40% questions, you should be able to clear JE. 40% at least will come from 11, and we are almost done with your 40% ka course. So please be attentive in the class. Okay, I'll give you a minute to note this down. I hope all of you are noting this down. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Good. Then I will do one more question. Fatafat.
Yes, sir.
Well done. Chalo. All of you noted this down. I move on to the next
Yes, sir.
question, and the next question is like this. Give me an answer, fatafat, of this question. I have a wedge Now this wedge can be in any shape. I've just made it straight. I have a wedge. Remember, most of the question in this chapter will be based on springs, and I have not done spring questions before because I wanted to do it with the concept of energy rather than by the concept of work. So I have, oops, I have a spring which is here. Spring constant is K, and I have a block of mass M here at rest kept at a height h. Now what will happen? Obviously all the surfaces are frictionless because I want to solve the question by Lockme. What will happen here is that this block is at rest. I am going to do what? I am going to release this block. This block is going to come down. Then it is going to move on the horizontal track. Then it is going to hit the spring and it will be compressing the spring. What I need to know is the maximum compression in the spring. So you have to give me the answer for maximum compression in the spring. Your time starts now. Anyone got any answer to this question? Remember, answers are not important. The important part is, and I always remain, is that you are trying the question. Anyone with any answer? Okay, anyone can tell me how are we going to solve this? Obviously, we are going to solve it by Lockme. I will call this point as point A, where it is sitting on top. And then I will call this point when it has compressed the spring as point B. The spring is in its maximum compressed state and the compression in the spring is X. I hope everyone understands this. Block has moved. The spring has been compressed by an amount X. Anyone can tell me how to solve this? Anyone? I will apply.
From A to C, sir. I have
Okay.
taken.
I will apply Lockme from A to C. So first of all, I will write mechanical energy at point A will be equal to mechanical energy at point C, correct? Now mechanical energy at point A will consist of potential energy at point A
Kinetic energy at A equals to potential energy at C equals to
plus kinetic energy at C. Okay. Now this potential energy at A consists of two things, right?
SMGH.
Yes, it consists of gravitational part it consists of spring part. The gravitational part, to find out gravitational part, I must take a datum. So I take the gravitational potential energy of ground as 0. If I take the gravitational potential energy of ground as 0, the gravitational potential energy of point A becomes plus mgh. Do we all agree on this?
Sir.
Yes. So I'll just write here mgh with a positive sign. Okay. Hello everyone, can you see me? I mean, can you? Okay, you can't see me because it's all dark. The power has gone, so I'm just going to complete this question. I've switched off my camera, so you can't see me. But I hope you can see my screen. Yes or no? You can see my screen? You can
Yes,
see my
sir.
screen. Okay, so we'll just continue with the question, and I will switch off my camera. That is not going to serve any purpose. So basically, what we were doing were we were finding out gravitational potential energy at point A, which is plus mgh. The spring potential energy, if I talk, that will be equal to 0 because there is no spring here. What about kinetic energy at point A? So I'll just write it here. I will just write mgh. What about kinetic energy at point A? Anyone? Kinetic energy at point A. At point A, it is at rest. Yes or no? Why I'm not able to hear you guys? Okay, Rakesh says it is 0. That means I am audible. So kinetic energy at point A is 0. Now we
Zero,
come.
sir.
Now we come at potential
Zero,
energy
sir.
at point C. Potential
Zero,
energy at
sir.
point C. Gravitational potential energy is 0. All of us understand this. No point about guessing this because it is ground and ground ka gravitational
sir.
energy is 0. Well done. What about the spring potential energy at point C? Don't make the same mistake, else I'll give you the same lecture again. What is the spring potential energy at point C? Point C. It is not point C, it is point B. Sorry, I've written the wrong. Point B, point B, point B. What is the gravity? What is the spring potential energy at point B? Look at point B. Tell me the spring potential energy. Yes, Vahini. I've got light as well. So as soon as Vahini gave
Half
me the
kx
answer,
square.
light has come. So I am back. So the answer is
Half kx square, sir.
plus half kx square.
Half
That
kx
is
square.
correct. That is correct. Well done. Wrong color. Half kx square. I just put the values here. Half kx squared. What about the kinetic energy at point B? Kinetic energy at point B would definitely be 0 because it is
Under
the
root
state
kx
of
by
maximum compression, correct?
under root 2
Yes,
h
sir.
by h.
Yes, it is 0. From here, I can find out the value of x. What is the value of x? Under root of 2 mgh by k. This is the maximum compression in the spring. Do we all get this, everyone? Can I have some raise hand that we understand this? Well done. This is all about law of conservation of mechanical energy. This is not all of the questions. We would be doing more questions in the next class. So don't worry about it. We'll be doing many questions on work on this lock may here and after this as well. When we do circular motion, there'll be a lot of questions coming on lock may. So don't worry, we'll be covering it in great details. We'll be doing more questions in the next class. I hope all of you have understood this. Well, please note this down. After noting this down, you can move ahead. The class is over from my end. If there is anything that you want to ask, please ask your doubts and please study better. When I find you not studying, I really get very sad. I really want you all, since you are putting in a lot of hard work, we are putting in a lot of hard work to succeed in life. Please study, please study, please study. Okay, on that note, yes, beta.
Sir, happy
Yes, it-
Pongal, sir.
Happy Pongal to you. Yes, when is the Pongal? When is Pongal? Tomorrow?
Advance happy Pongal, sir.
I think it is on 15th of Jan. No, normally it is on 15th of Jan. Am I correct?
Sir, holidays, sir, from tomorrow.
Acha, holidays from tomorrow. So you are
Hostel students are going
Sir,
home,
from
sir.
tomorrow.
That's why.
okay.
But online class will be there, sir.
Okay, so you will be attending the class online from now onwards.
Bye, sir.
Take care. Enjoy Pongal. Enjoy Makar Sankranti and study better. Enjoy your holidays. Not a problem enjoying your holidays, but study. This is the time to
But-
study. At least study what we are discussing in the class. Only do that many questions. That would be more than enough. Happy Pongal, Vaini. Happy Pongal to all of you. And I wish that this festival, I know it's a big festival, brings a lot of happiness in your life. It gives you a lot of positive energy. It gives you motivation to work harder, because in the next Pongal, by the next Pongal, you will be almost on the brink of your exam. So next Pongal would be like at the peak of your studies. So I hope that from this Pongal to the next one, you find yourself in a state where you are confident that you would be able to crack the exam. That is my wish for all of you. And enjoy, but steady as well and keep safe, because this new variant has already come and a lot of people are getting infected by it. I also felt yesterday that I had caught some sort of viral fever, so I rested. You can still see I'm coughing, but I think I'm okay. And please wear your mask. I see all of you wearing masks in the class. Wear mask, and your vaccinations have also started. So I hope that you register yourself and get vaccinated as soon as possible. And enjoy your vacations. I'll see you in the online class. Take care. I'm always there for you, bacha. Whenever you feel like, just drop me a message. I'm always checking my messages. I'll get back to you as soon as I see them. Take care. Have a nice day. Have great vacations, but
Thank you,
study
sir.
hard. Study hard. Study hard. Take
Thank you
care.
and
Take
bye,
care,
sir.
bacha. Take care. Take care, everyone. Take care.
Bye, sir.
Bye, beta. And